Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 129 of Gains, and this one is titled Report. Ori closed the door and locked it down, and then walked over to a panel on the side of the cylinder and pressed a few buttons, then gave you a thumbs up. You nodded, and she pressed start, and the machine started to buzz and rumble a little bit. The floor you were standing on lit up red, and a scan line started slowly moving up your body, starting from your ankles and slowly climbing up. It felt quite eerie having this red line slowly creeping towards your head, and you closed your eyes as it slowly passed over them and then headed up to your hairline and beyond. Once it had completed its scan, it beeped, and Ori turned it off, then opened the door for you to get out while the report was being collated. "Well, moment of truth, Yin," she said as she walked back over and picked up the paper in the catchment area of the machine. You watched her face for her reaction as her eyes scanned down the paper. She kept her face neutral, giving absolutely nothing away, and then handed the paper to you for you to look it over. You took it from her, still watching her face and trying to decipher what the results were without looking at them for yourself. Slowly you looked down at the paper and read down the sheet. It had a timeline with times in hours and minutes, and you could see some massive spikes as well as some sustained lines, and looked up at Ori. What exactly am I looking at here?" you asked her, having never read anything like this before. "The upshot of it is, you only had 10 minutes, she said, and your face fell. 10 minutes? 10 minutes of me sustaining my quirk? You thought with a discouraged sigh. 10 minutes of that time outside of sleep where you weren't sustaining your quirk, she said. Yin, you had your quirk in a suspended active state for almost the whole time you were out there. The 10 minutes where you weren't was probably you passing out, she said. I can see 2 spikes and then blanks afterwards, so I'm assuming you'd fallen unconscious? Wow, yeah, I did pass out twice, you said with a sweat-dropped look on your face. Wow, so you can read it that well? Of course, she said, stepping over to you to point out some things on the paper. Okay, see how this line is hovering a little above the 3 quirk hertz line? This line tells you your output, and this line at the bottom here tells you how many minutes you held it for. See? There are only 2 times where you completely bombed, but aside from that, you're able to sustain at 3 quirk hertz, which isn't much, but it's definitely a start. Are you sustaining now? She then asked you. I think I am. I've been trying to do it constantly, you replied. You're glowing a little, so I can tell you are, she said, and it reminded you of Bakugou. These 2 are very perceptive, you thought. Now here, she said, pointing to another section of the paper. You held your quirk at 40 quirk hertz for 45 minutes. What were you doing here? Oh, that must have been in cave number 2, where we found the kids, you said. There's a little dip here where we were fighting bats and my quirk timed out for a second, but I think this one, where it's at 60 quirk hertz, is where I made a lightsaber and was whacking bats with it. Ori smirked. Ball cannon, she said. Yes! Oh my god, yes, exactly like that. Actually, I do remember thinking that it was like that, you chuckled. Okay, and then I just had a light ball hovering for light, but then passed out and then came to. But look, I could only sustain the light at 5 quirk hertz the next time. Overall, you used your quirks so much more than you probably thought you did, she said. I don't give compliments, I state facts. And the fact is, you did amazing. Now keep training and get stronger. A hero is anyone who's willing to go beyond and help, right? She smirked at you. Yeah, it is, you said, giving her a direct look in the eye, full of confidence. You saw the news? Yeah, I saw the news, she replied. And although your reason for being a hero hasn't changed, your conviction has. And I feel like you know yourself now. You're getting to understand yourself. And you're well on the way to becoming an amazing hero. Thanks, Ori, you said with a genuine smile. I'm not here to compliment, I'm here to state facts, she said matter-of-factly. And the fact of the matter is, we've stood around talking enough. It's time to train. Did you keep up the squats? Hey, what's that over there? You said playfully, trying to divert her attention. I'm not falling for that, Yin. Answer the question. Did you do your squats like I told you? Because I did tell you I'd kick your ass if you didn't. I walked and... you tried to say defensively. Suddenly, Ori disappeared from in front of you and appeared behind you. Prepare for a whooping, she hissed in your ear. Fight or flight kicked in and you spun around while making a ball of light and threw it straight into her belly, with her only narrowly missing being hit as you jumped back a few times. I'm not taking any chances with you, you called to her. This is life or death. You better start on those squats, she called. 1. You quickly set yourself up and started squatting while she counted, and then she walked over. Listen, she said while she intermittently called out numbers for your squats. 4. I've been thinking. 5. About? 6. Your quirk. 7, she said. What about it? You asked. 8. 9. 10. Keep going, she said, then switched to just talking. Random question, but what's your parents' quirks? Dad has the light quirk. I got it from him, you said. And your mum? She asked. I don't actually know. Mum only ever said her quirk was love. And to be honest, I didn't really care for my quirk because I hated it, so I didn't really pay attention to anything quirk related, you admitted. Well, you might want to ask your mum about her quirk, Ori said, because I think she may have boosted your quirk. If she said her quirk was love, then either she's covering for something else or she's got some kind of enhancement quirk and she's given it to you. It would explain a lot if that were the case, because kids your age don't have the power that you have without some kind of intervention. You could feel your thighs and glutes burning now, but the burn faded into insignificance as your mind started going through the archives of your brain. I'll ask her, you finally said. I'm seeing her tonight, so I'll quiz her on it, but you do make a good point. Ooh, now we'll get to find out about Mum's backstory very soon. I'll see you for the next chapter, chapter 130, tomorrow. See you then.